Hello, good morning, boys and girls. Welcome to science class. Today we'll be learning about animal habitats. Last week we learned about animal habitat and we are going to continue learning about animal habitats. I remember we learned about three different habitats. We learned about the desert, the grassland, and the rainforest. Hope you can still remember them. And we also say that all living things need a place to live, a place that will make them comfortable, a place that will give them food, a place that will give them shelter where they will live, and a place that will make them safe. And we said habitat is a place where animals or plants lives. So habitat is a place where animals or plants live. Animal and plants provide the animal habitat provides the animal with food. Like I said, provide them with what they eat. It provides them with food. It provides them with air, water, and comfort. So animals, they usually look for a place where we call habitat, or a place where they will always be comfortable, where they will get food, where they will get water, where they will get air, and where they will be safe from all kinds of harm, or all kinds of danger. So today we'll be looking at three other types of habitats. We're looking at the polar habitat, the woodland habitat or forests, uh, and we are going to be looking at the aquatic habitat as well. So let me take that again. The polar habitat, the woodland or the forest, and the aquatic habitat. So let's talk about the polar habitat. The polar habitat are located at the very top and very bottom of the earth. There are things that are peculiar to the polar habitat, okay? In the polar habitat or in a polar environment, they are always cold, very cold, they're windy, and they have lot of snow and ice. So in a polar habitat is usually cold, windy, and you can see lot of snow and ice in a polar habitat. And another thing about polar habitat is that it's too cold for trees to grow. So you don't get to see trees in a polar habitat because it's too cold for trees to grow. And it is usually windy. And I said that animals that will live in this environment, they must be sure that they are safe. Not anyhow animal can just get to the polar habitat and okay and they will survive. So animals that will be in the polar habitat are animals that their body can take that pressure, that the cold environment. So let's move forward. So this is what a polar habitat, what this is what it looks like. You can see a lot of ice, you can see the ice, okay, and you can see the snow as well. And if you have been abroad before and you've been in a snowy environment where we have a lot of snow. You know that snow, when you have snow, you don't get to wear anyhow clothes. You have to wear your cardigan, okay? You have to really dress up so that you won't get cold. So when you see ice and snow, you can tell that the environment is obviously cold, okay? When you see snow and ice, it is obvious that the environment is cold. So this is what a polar habitat. This is what it looks like. So there are animals that are comfortable, that are safe in this environment. Okay. So examples of such animals are polar bear, seals, Arctic fox, reindeers, and so on. Okay, so all these animals, they feel comfortable, they feel safe, they get their food. Okay, they get their food, they get air, they get water, they get comfort in this habitat. So you might be wondering, wow, this is a cold habitat. Yes, it is cold, but they get their own comfort in this habitat. Okay, the polar bear, the seals, the Arctic fox, the reindeers, and so on. So let's move to the next. Okay, before we move on, look at this environment. This is what? This is this is what, like I showed earlier, the polar habitat. Look at the polar bear, look at the environment, look at the Arctic fox, okay? They're comfortable in the environment. So let's look at this also. This is a reindeer. And look at the environment. The environment is a polar habitat. You can see the ice and you can see the snow. Okay, so like I said, these animals, they get their shelter, they get their food, they get protection in this environment. So the next one is, let's talk about the last example, the last okay. We've talked about the polar, okay, the polar habitat. Now let's talk about this kind of habitat. This one, it is called the woodland or the forest. Remember when we mentioned this? Okay, the woodland or the forest. So, so the woodland habitat are places that have lots of trees, as you can see in the picture. Okay, they have lots and lots of trees. Animals and insects who live in forest and woodland habitat rely on the trees to give them comfort, to give them protection, to give them food. Okay? The woodland habitat or the forest, like I said, it has a lot of trees, and animals here, they depend on the trees to give them what? To give them shelter, food, protection. Okay? And this is what a woodland or a forest, this is what it looks like. So examples of animals in the woodland habitat are rabbits, deer, woodpeckers, etc. So look at this. This is a woodpecker, and the woodpecker relies on the tree to get its shelter, to get its food, to get its comfort, and everything needed to survive. Okay, so let's talk about the aquatic habitat. But before I talk about the aquatic habitat, let's do a quick review about what the um, woodland habitat is. I said woodland habitat are places that have lots of trees. Okay, and woodland habitat are also called the forest. The forest. Okay, and in the woodland habitat, the animals and insects there, they rely on what? They rely on the trees to give them comfort, to give them food, to give them protection. And this is what a woodland habitat looks like. And these are and examples of animals in habitat are rabbits, deer, woodpeckers, and so on. And this is a picture of a woodpecker. And the last type of habitat we'll be talking about is the aquatic habitat. And the aquatic habitat is a habitat with water, aquatic water, such as ocean, fresh water, lakes, pond, etc. So anytime you hear aquatic habitat, just know that it has to do with water. Okay, water such as ocean, fresh water, lakes, pond, etc. And to note that 70% of the earth's surface is covered with water. Okay, so you can see water everywhere. So examples of aquatic animals are, or animals that lives in the aquatic habitat are jellyfish, seahorse, octopus, crab, shark, whale, etc. These are animals that feel so comfortable, safe, that they get their food, they get water, they get all that they need in the aquatic environment or the aquatic habitat. Okay, and look at what the aquatic habitat, look at what it looks like, and you can see this you can see the fishes living so well, comfortable, safe in the water. So if you put a polar bear in water, it's going to die, okay, because this is not the right habitat, this is not the right environment for it. And if you put a fish in the forest or in the woodland habitat, it's going to die because that is not the right environment for the fish. So all animals have their habitat, and that habitat is where they will feel comfortable, they'll feel safe, and they'll feel alive. Okay, so you just don't put an animal in an environment. It has to be an environment that is conducive, that is safe for that animal, an environment that is ideal for the animal. Okay, so this is going to be the end of the class. If you have any question, kindly send them through the comment box. Okay, have a great day. Okay.